Clover. Written and illustrated by P.J.Leonard. On a sunny hill lived a family of little clovers. They had been born in the spring. They liked being together. Together they enjoyed the sun, the rain, and the stars at night. Wise old Mr. Tree would give them shade when it got too hot. One clover was a little bit different. She had 4 leaves. She didn't know why. Her mummy, daddy, and all of her brothers and sisters only had 3 leaves. But it didn't matter. She didn't feel different. Everybody just called her Clover, and she swayed in the wind with her family. One day, something big walked by. It wasn't stuck to the ground like Clover, but it moved around on 2 legs. It was huge, almost as big as Mr. Tree. "What is that?" asked Clover. "I've never seen a plant like that." "It's a human," said Daddy. "They like to walk by here sometimes." "Why?" asked Clover. But before they could answer, the human stopped just in front of them. He leaned over and picked their neighbor, Miss Tulip, out of the ground. Clover felt suddenly very scared. She watched as the human picked up the whole tulip family and even took Mr. Rose too. Then the human left. Clover's brothers and sisters shivered and chatted among themselves. "He picked them," said Clover. "How horrible! Why did he do that?" Mummy and Daddy looked at each other. "Because they are special," said Daddy. "Special?" said Clover. "How are they special?" The wind disappeared and the hill went quiet. All of Clover's brothers and sisters were listening now. "Lots of ways," said Mummy. "The color, the smell, the shape. Humans pick anything that is special." Special. Clover thought about what Mummy and Daddy had said. The next day, another human walked by. It picked up a whole bunch of the Daisy family. The day after that, the Buttercup family were taken. Clover noticed that the green grass, the leaves on Mr. Tree, and Clover's family were left alone. "I'm glad I'm not different," said Clover. "I'm just like the rest of my family. They won't take me." Mummy's petals drooped. "Oh, Clover, you are the most special out of all of us." "Really? How?" asked Clover. "Because you have 4 leaves," said Daddy. "It makes you very, very rare. If a human ever saw you, they will pick you." Clover suddenly felt very cold. "No," she said. "I don't want to be picked. I want to stay with you." "Don't worry," said Mummy. "Daddy and I will hide you. Nobody will find you." Clover didn't believe her parents. "No," she thought, "nobody will want to take me. Apart from my extra leaf, I look the same as all the others. I'm not that different." But the next day, another human came, a little girl. She knelt by the patch of clovers. She looked sad. She looked carefully over Clover's brothers and sisters. She's looking for me, Clover thought. Mummy and Daddy were right. Mummy and Daddy leaned in closer, hiding Clover behind them. She had never been so scared. Please don't see me, please. It started to rain. The girl looked up at the sky, said something, then walked away down the hill, looking even more sad than before. That was close, said Mummy. Don't worry, Clover. Every time someone tries to look for you, we will hide you. Water fell from Clover's leaves and onto the ground. I hate being different, she yelled. Why did I have to have 4 leaves? I don't want to be special. I don't want to be picked. Mummy and Daddy said nothing. They looked sad, just like the girl had looked. Why was that? The same girl came back the next day, and the day after that. Every time she looked through the patch of her family, and every time Clover's parents hid her from the girl's eyes. And at the end of every day, the girl gave up and left, looking more and more sad. On the 3rd day, something strange happened. It rained again, but not from the sky. The rain fell from the girl's eyes. Clover watched the girl walk back down the hill. She will keep coming back, thought Clover. She will keep looking until she finds me. Mummy and Daddy can't hide me forever. Clover didn't sleep that night. She kept trying to shake off her extra leaf, but it didn't work. No matter what she tried, she was the 4-leaf clover.
Clover,
somebody whispered. Clover looked around. Who said that? All of her family were asleep. She looked up. Mr. Tree's branches swayed in the breeze.
Clover,
said Mr. Tree again.
I have been watching you for a long time. What is wrong, little one?
Clover stared. She had never heard Mr. Tree talk before.
Do not be afraid,
said Mr. Tree.
I am here to help.
I hate being me, said Clover. I hate being different. I want to take one of my leaves off.
But you're not different, Clover, said Mr. Tree. Being special doesn't mean you're different.
Special, but not different. Clover thought about this a lot, and it made her feel a little better. But why? Said Clover. Why does the girl want to take me? Wise old Mr. Tree leaned over Clover, his branches bending so low they nearly touched her.
Because you are lucky, little one, said Mr. Tree. Did you see how sad that girl was?
Yes, said Clover. Why was she sad?
I don't know, said Mr. Tree. But I have been around for a long time, Clover. I remember last spring, and the spring before that, and the spring before that. I have seen many humans looking for 4-leaf clovers before you were born, and they all seemed to have a problem.
Clover looked around her sleeping family. There were other 4-leaf clovers before me? Did they get picked?
Sometimes,
said Mr. Tree.
And when they did, the human who picked them looked happy.
the wind and rain stopped, and Mr. Tree was silent. Clover stayed awake all night, thinking. The next morning, the little girl came early. She slowly walked up the hill. Rain fell from her eyes. Clover had never seen her so sad. "Don't worry, little Clover," said Mummy. "We will protect you. We won't let her take you." The girl sat down by the patch of clovers and looked carefully through them again. Mummy and Daddy stood in front of Clover, hiding her from sight. Clover thought about what Mr. Tree had said last night, how she was lucky, how being special could make others happy. "Mummy, Daddy," said Clover slowly, "I want the girl to pick me." "What?" Daddy whispered. "Why, Clover? Don't you want to stay here with your family?" "Yes, of course I do," said Clover. "But that girl looks like she needs me a lot. I think I can help her." "We don't want you to go," said Mummy. "Please, Clover, stay with us." But before Clover could say anything, Daddy leaned in close to Mummy and whispered something. They both looked at each other. Then Mummy leaned in close to her. "Are you sure, Clover?" Clover thought a bit more, then nodded. "Oh, my little Clover," said Mummy. "You are so brave. We will miss you so much." Mummy and Daddy hugged their four-leaf clover. Then they stood back. Raindrops fell from their leaves like rain fell from the girl's face. Clover stood up as tall as she could, looking straight at the girl. The girl found her almost straight away. She stretched out a hand, wrapped 2 fingers around Clover's stalk, and pulled. It felt strange not being on the ground. The girl lifted her high, high in the air, so high her family nearly disappeared. She saw Mummy and Daddy far below, so tiny. Mr. Tree waved at her with a branch. "Goodbye." The girl brought Clover right up to her face, and for the first time, Clover saw her smile. The girl turned and ran down the hill, jumping and laughing. The wind ran through Clover's leaves, and the sun shone on her face. Already she missed her family, but seeing the girl smile made it better. And there, in the distance, was a rainbow. She would never have seen it from the ground, but up here in the girl's hand, she was on top of the world. "How lucky I am," said Clover. The end.